Hi, if you've been trying to get pregnant and your problem is scar tissue in the abdomen, fallopian tubes, or anything, you're going to love hearing about this little known supplement. Now, before you click off, I'm not selling it. I want to tell you about it. You know why I want to tell you about it? Because I was able to have 2 children after a reanastomosis. That means I had had my tubes tied, and then I had them burned and cauterized, and then I had them reconnected and was able to have 2 children. That introduced me to the mind-body connection. Now, I know you're thinking, damn, you look kind of old to be talking about having children, but that was over 20 years ago. However, I did not know about this supplement then, and once I got my tubes reconnected, then scar tissue would build up, and I had miscarriages, and I would have to keep getting them washed out. And if you've been going through it, you know that it can be hell. So this supplement transforms scar tissue, it dissolves it, and it was discovered in the belly of silkworms. What they were doing looking in the belly of silkworms, I don't know. Maybe they wanted to know, how are these silkworms able to eat that casing, the hard casing, digest it, and then be light enough to fly away? So the name of this supplement is serapeptase. Can you see that? I'll show you my bottle in a minute. And you can get it at any health food store. I ordered mine from Amazon. Now, why am I taking it now? Because I had a couple of little cysts, and in just a week of taking them, it's dissolved them almost completely away. So it's very important to take it at night on an empty stomach. I keep it beside the bed because I've had several surgeries, and of course I want to prevent scar tissue. That's a tip, and I'm going to show you my bottle. Don't have to get this brand. This is just the one that I ordered. Oh shoot, I'm turning it the wrong way. Serapeptase. Can you read that? Now, mine cost about $40, but you can get it for a lot less. But hey, spend a fortune trying to get pregnant. What's a little bit more for a supplement? I do want to tell you that when I was going through all that to try and get pregnant, it introduced me to the mind-body concept, the holistic approach, which is treatments for anxiety, and then the spiritual component and the metaphysical component. And I've been able to help other women get pregnant. And here's the enemy of trying to get pregnant, which you know, is anxiety. You know, the first treatment I always have to give to a woman that wants to get pregnant, and I went through this, so I'm not judging, but yet sometimes you try so hard to get pregnant, and then you either have miscarriages or something happens, and you see Walmart, and here's some lady with 5 young'uns with runny noses, and her belly's out to there, and you can get into envy. I know one lady couldn't go to her sister's baby shower because she felt so terrible because she couldn't be. And it's a subconscious message to the universe, I'm separate, I can't bear to look at it, and I'll never be a mother. So one of the first things when working with a client that I do is help them alleviate that anxiety and that envy and transform it into appreciation. Now, how do I do that? I do that because I'm an energy therapist, and I know a lot of metaphysical techniques, in case you want to know how that's spelled. Metaphysical. And I got into all of this, guess why? Because I wanted to get pregnant, and let me tell you, honey, the clock was ticking. Now, one of the things that's been very helpful to the clients that I've assisted is that the spiritual component. Here's what you need to know. It is the baby that picks you. Only, you know what? They're not really a little baby spirit on the other side. They're often full grown, but they manifest, of course, as a little baby. but they picked you. And if you have a desire for a baby, that means you're already picked. So that urgent feeling, and by the way, I know that horrible feeling when you feel pregnant, it's like your body is tricking you. You know how it's getting time for your period and your breasts are sore and you're like, oh man, that's a sign, maybe I won't have my period. And then you do, and for your whole period you're just boo-hooing and feeling so low, and other people just don't understand, do they? And especially if you're getting up into your 30s. The 2 children I had after the reanesmosis, I was 39, and then the next one at 41, just days away from being 42. So it's never too late. Now, one of the gifts I have is that I am psychic, and I can tell you if a spirit has chosen you and usually what the purpose is. In other words, they're choosing you for some kind of purpose. So this is a different way to look at things. It really opened my eyes to a lot of things, and I started seeing a metaphysical teacher and healer when I was trying to get pregnant. Now, it did go against all my Pentecostal church upbringing, and it was really cutting edge stuff, but she taught me visualization, she taught me hypnosis, and then I was so in love with it and it was so effective that I went on to get certified in hypnosis and all kind of metaphysical techniques, energy therapy techniques. So if it's endometriosis you're dealing with, get the serapeptase. And if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, I do have a program that can help you get pregnant. I also have a program if you're trying to adopt. If you're trying to adopt, it's really important to make that spirit-to-spirit connection. And it's also important to make that spirit connection with the mother that's carrying the child that's going to be yours. It's so important to get into appreciation of that person and not judging them because maybe they got into trouble or whatever the reason, but to be a loving support. Why? Because the baby that is using them as a vehicle to get to you, well, they picked them first. Anyway, this may be a different point of view that you've never thought of. If you'd just like to get in touch with me, I'm going to give you my private email. My website is RebeccaMarina.com, but this is my private email. I'm giving my private email out on the internet. Am I crazy? Actually, you'd be surprised. People are so respectful. It's childsusie@yahoo.com. Easy to remember. Susie is the name of my inner child, and my inner child would love to help you get that baby in your arms. And by the way, my mother had 8 children, and she's on the other side now, and nothing tickles her more than to help shove some of those little baby spirits down the chute and into the arms of the loving mothers and fathers. And believe me, I know what that anxiety feels like. When you feel like everybody else has babies but you, and maybe you have had one and you want another one and it's so hard to get it, and you can just get into so much anxiety. Even if there was nothing wrong with your fallopian tubes or anything, the anxiety can keep you from getting pregnant. So this is Rebecca Marina Messenger. I hope this information was helpful. And if you're watching and you know someone who's trying to get pregnant and maybe they've had problems with their fallopian tubes, pass the link along so that at least they can get some of that serapeptase and get that scar tissue to dissolving. And by the way, it also works for cyst, any non-living tissue. So can you imagine what it would do to the plaque in your arteries? There are just so many wonderful uses for serapeptase, and it's my joy to see people healthy, and whatever it is that brings you joy in life, that's what I'd love to be a part of helping. God bless. Oh, and subscribe to my channel while you're here if you like this kind of information.